Welcome back, my pack, my tribe, to Howling After Dark. Okay, so, I decided I wanted to do something a little, tiny little bit different than normal for part 2. I'm going to play for you an older show, actually. Hold on, let me actually get it loaded. And hoping I still have it. Let's see. No, it's not there. Hopefully it's in here. And no, it's freaking not. Are you kidding me? Maybe I won't be doing that. Oh well. Plan B. I was going to play for you the show I did with my good friend Shaman Blackbear. He is a shaman and medium from Scotland, and he's freaking hilarious. One of my favorite guests ever. But I guess I can't do that. So I'm going to go with Plan B, which tonight is going to be about my web series. I'm going to kind of go in depth here on what my thought process was for creating this web series in the first place. My friend Raven said I couldn't even watch it. It is very scary for some people. I get it. But no, I do urge everyone to watch it, if only for... It is not like every other paranormal show. There are some key differences, and in the very first episode of Forgotten Ghost Towns on YouTube, by the way, I even discussed this a little bit. Three things very differently. One, we do not edit the footage or the audio that you see in each episode. There's no editing at all. Zero editing. What you see is what exactly happened. There's no cutting. There's no messing with the video to brighten it even. None of that. What you see is the same thing that we saw in the moment. The reason we do that is because A, it does lend a certain credibility to what we do. Because we can say, yeah, we didn't doctor anything. In fact, we didn't even edit the footage. And the second thing is, by doing that, we also don't even view the footage before you do. What I mean by that is, like, when I shoot footage on, say, my infrared camcorder, okay? So we go to some haunted location and I shoot footage on that infrared camcorder. I don't even look at it when I'm editing it. I just look at the number on the files. Could always say something like it's usually something like FM 0001 or something to that effect. It'll always be numbered in that way, and then it'll have the date. So I'll look for the correct date, I'll look for the starting number, and I'll load that one into the YouTube editor. I know it's there, I don't need to watch it. In fact, if it starts to play in the editor, I'll even pause it so I don't see it. And then I'll add the next one, then the next one, then the next one, so on and so forth. And then on the very front of it, of course, I'll add like the intro, the music and stuff, and the beginning credits, and the ending credits if I decide to use any. So it's actually like a regular show. But other than that, we don't watch anything before it's put out. And there's another reason for that. Like I said, there's the whole credibility thing. But also, we want the viewers to be part of our team. We want our viewers to watch these things on YouTube. And if they see something, I want them to put down in the comments, oh, well, I saw, a missed at, 11 minutes, 23 seconds, or, I heard a sound at 8 minutes, 12 seconds, or whatever. We want our viewers to feel like they're part of the team, because they are. And then, of course, the third thing is that we do differently is our approach. We do not provoke. Ever. The only exception to that rule is like if I'm doing a house cleansing or something and I know I'm dealing with something evil, I will provoke the shit out of it because it is evil and I need to stand up to it. Because they're like a bully. Really. They're like bullies. If you stand up to them, they back down. And once they start to back down, I can get them right the fuck on out of that house. Mission accomplished. So, other than that, though, we don't provoke, ever. Give you an example, I've actually talked about this one before. Back when I was first starting Ghost Wolf Paranormal, it was a much larger team. And me and part of the team did the Mansfield Reformatory, which is, by now world famous haunted prison. And we were inside the reformatory and everybody else, of course, was provoking. And there were like 7 other teams there that night, and they were all complaining about how they weren't getting any evidence. We walked in there, or we were in there actually at the same time, but we had overheard that. And we went into what is known to be one of the most haunted parts of the whole prison. And the first words out of my mouth was, look, we're not going to provoke you, we're not going to yell at you, we're not going to scream at you or talk down to you. As far as we're concerned, you have served your time. We're just here to communicate. And the second I said that, boom, shadow figures started coming out of cells right in front of us. We started to hear things. We went to the one cell, you might remember from the episode of Ghost Adventures when they were there, where the one inmate had been burned alive. He actually tried to kill himself by burning himself alive. We actually went into that cell and not only felt on our person, but also documented on a device that there was a temperature change, that it was actually 10 degrees hotter in that one cell than anywhere else in the whole prison. And we got all of that evidence because we don't provoke. Ever. It's pointless. But the main reason I decided to do the show, quite frankly, is because a lot of amateur paranormal investigators or ghost hunters were getting into trouble. Like those 7 guys that burned down the plantation in Louisiana, or there was somebody else that got busted for stealing stuff from a haunted location or something, and all this wild, crazy stuff because and so it was just the point that we need to be responsible for what we say, how we act, and be responsible. Because we are responsible not only for ourselves, for our team, but for the whole paranormal community at large. Now, and I've preached about that before, and I'm not going to get into that whole thing. But the point is we saw that nobody else on TV or on social media was making shows this way. Nobody was kind of taking the chance and just putting it all out there and not even caring whether anybody ever watched it or not. And I don't know how many viewers my shows had at this point. I really don't. All I can tell you is that when I saw that there was more people watching than just us, ourselves, that to me was a victory. I think it was 400 some odd the last time I looked, but it's probably a lot more than that by now. But look, my point is we were thinking outside of the box. We wanted to distribute something that nobody else was doing in a way that nobody else was doing it. We wanted to give people an idea, and this is the most important part of it. Because like I said, the amateur ghost hunters, the most important part of it was what paranormal investigation is like. Because it doesn't happen on TV. They ham things up for ratings, to keep you watching. We don't do that. If we react to something, you can damn sure bet that it's something that we experience. We don't need to ham things up, and it speaks for itself. And we have gotten, by the way, some of the most groundbreaking paranormal evidence in existence. And that is not a boast. That is a statement of fact. We've gotten groundbreaking audio evidence. We've gotten groundbreaking video evidence and photographic evidence at that. And the thing is I have... The reason all that's possible is because we think outside the box. We don't want to be like Ghost Adventures or Ghost Hunters. You know, they've tried that formula on TV forever, and it might for a while because it just turns into the same old thing over and over and over again. Where, like, they're in some dark, scary place, and you're like, oh my god, reacting to, like, something that would probably barely make our eyebrows raise. And that's not to say that the stuff that they capture isn't real. I'm sure they capture real stuff. I'm sure of it. I know it. I'm not saying that they're faking anything. But they might be reacting a little bit overboard because there's TV cameras there. Whereas we will never do that. In fact, we don't have a TV crew, a camera crew. I would like one, to be honest. I would like to give our show that third dimension, but we don't have one. I'm the camera guy, and the director, and the producer of the show. So whether you like it or you hate the show, the blame is all mine. So that's why I decided to do the show, because there's really a lack of I don't want to say realistic paranormal content out there, but I guess you could say there was kind of a lack of reality in the way it was being presented. And I wanted to change that, and I still do. In fact, I believe in that's kind of my mission statement, I should say, for our paranormal team. In fact, I believe in that so much that I actually turned down a TV deal. Flat out turned one down. They wanted me on a TV show, which, by the way, has never aired. Which is kind of telling all within itself. They wanted me to be on a TV show that does nothing but talk about scary events. They want it big and scary and spooky, and because people, quote unquote, love to be scared. But you know what else people love? They love what the world sees as fantastic. And what is more fantastic, communicating with a spirit and having not just one, not two, but 3 different devices saying that it's occurring. That's 3 different pieces of evidence saying all the same thing. What could be better than not only communicating with these spirits, but forming a relationship with them to the point where they ask for you by name on other people's EVPs? I don't know if listeners up tonight actually heard this or not. I actually did an episode. I was doing a live EVP session. And Ghost Wolf is a name that gets called out repeatedly on EVPs, and not even just our own. It's been called out on other team EVPs before. People from Ghost Hunters and Ghost Adventures have done investigations while the cameras were off and have had our names called on their EVPs. So, for this one episode of Howling After Dark, I did a live EVP session, and I asked them, Why do you call our name so much? Or, no, actually the way I phrased it, I think, was like, did you say Ghost Wolf? And they said yes. And I said, do you call our name so much because you like us? And they're like, yes. I said, what, are we like famous or something on your side? They're like, yes. I'm like, why? Is it because of our approach? They're like, yeah. Like, it's because we show you respect? They're like, yeah. And then I asked the question, how many of you know about us? And their response actually made the hair on the back of my neck stand up, like in a good way. They said, everyone. They all know us. They all know us. We've only been a team for, I think, going on 4 years now. 4 or 5 years, something like that, I don't remember. Anyway, it's been a while, but not that long. And in that short amount of time, we have gotten the respect of the mass majority of spirits on their side of things. We may never be as famous as Ghost Hunters or Ghost Adventures. We may never have the renown of your Ed and Lorraine Warren or your Dr. Hans Holzer. We may never be as famous as any of the teams on TV. Or those that do like the really well-known radio shows like Darkness Radio. We may never have that kind of following. We may never have that kind of fame in this life. But what fills me with more pride, what fills me with an undying sense of justification and what's the word I'm looking for? The validation. What fills me with that sense of validation is the fact that we are the most famous on their side. I want you to think about how massive that is. Nothing in the world. Got a TV deal tomorrow and won like Oscars or whatever for our fucking TV show. It wouldn't mean half as much to me as that does. That is the ultimate validation that they like us so much because we treat them with respect. That means more to me than almost anything. I would take that feeling like on their side that we're so liked and so appreciated over pretty much anything. I would take that and if I could, I would engrave that fact into my tombstone when I die. That's how much it means to me. I've reached the pinnacle, in my opinion, of paranormal investigating. I've reached the pinnacle of our business, if you will. Nothing tops that, or ever will. They could call me tomorrow and say, Jay, we like your show, but we want to make some changes. And you know what my response would be? Fuck you. Because we're never going to change. TV deal or no TV deal, our show is going to be exactly the same as it was when we started. We are not going to pander to our audience. What we're going to present is the absolute truth of what happened. And that's it. If we do an investigation and don't come up with anything all night, then we just don't come up with anything. But that's reality. And it's supposed to be called reality TV. Right? So, there's reality for you. Although I will say that will probably never happen to us. In the, let's see. Oh shit, I think we're coming up on 5 years, actually. Yeah, pretty sure, like 5 years. But in like the 5 years that we've been investigating, 5 years, people, think about that. We have never once, not one time, walked away from an investigation without evidence to show for it. Not one time. You know what an amazing record that is? That's not to say it won't ever happen. Nothing lasts forever. But just the fact that it's been that long is amazing to me, and it tells me that we're doing everything right. And I wish I could explain to you what a feeling of validation and joy and pride it was to hear the responses on that live EVP show. That we're liked that much. Because we love them. We think it is the coolest thing ever. And that's the thing too. Going back to the subject from part 1, we don't feel fear during an investigation. We get pumped up. We're so excited that, you know, we're like teenagers going to prom. I mean, we're so freaking excited that we can hardly contain ourselves before an investigation. And I know that's true of everybody on my team. We love what we do so frickin' much, and it shows. And see, I think that's part of what separates us from a lot of the, like, TV shows. I mean, as great as they are, with a lot of those guys, it's just a job. It's just a gig that they do on TV once in a while. To us, it's not a job. It's not a hobby like it is for most amateur. Well, there really is no such thing as a quote-unquote professional paranormal team, by the way, and therefore no amateur team, but because it's not a recognized profession. But the reason, like I kind of lost my train. The reason why it is the way it is for these guys on TV They're- and they aren't getting recognition from the other side like we are. Has nothing to do with the fact that they're on TV. It has to do with the fact of their approach. How often do you see them provoke? And like my grandma always used to say, you catch more flies with honey. And it's absolutely true. But more importantly, like that, we've developed friendships with spirits. And I know there's some like, oh, everything is negative type people out there that are probably thinking, oh, well, how do you know it's good? Blah, blah, blah. How do you know you're not getting close to something like a demon? Blah, 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 blah. Well, okay. Allow me to explain. For starters, I'm a practicing shaman, have been for a good chunk of my life. I specialize in home cleansings, and one of my gifts, aside from being clairvoyant and seeing spirits, including, and I mean spirits, not just ghosts, spirits. So, aside from being able to see them, unless they're actively hiding from me, of course, is the fact that I can sense when there's evil anywhere near me. And it's hard to describe that feeling. And I don't feel it most of the time. In fact, what most people label as demons aren't even evil at all. They're just trying to get your attention. So people really need to fucking relax on the whole D word. So yeah, the sense of validation that I feel from that, and I'm sure my team feels from that, is tremendous. I don't think any feeling will ever top that. To be honest about it, I don't think anything can top that. At least not in the in the realm of the paranormal. But that's why I wanted to do this show, meaning my web series, the way that I do it, and so that people know what it's actually like, and that way they can, hopefully somebody sees it and then, makes an informed decision about whether or not they want to pursue this line of study. Rather than just doing it because they saw it on TV and it looked like it could be fun. It's not a fucking hobby, people. I don't know why people keep referring to it as a hobby. It is not a hobby. Absolutely not. It is a calling. If you see it as anything less, you need to get the hell out of the way. It's pretty much that simple. But anywho, that I'm down to about 5 minutes, but I'm going to go ahead and cut it short, folks. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Tune in next time to the Same Wolf channel at the Same Wolf time. Until next time, I pack my tribe. Peace out.